Hi guys, Ruslana here, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be telling you why I dislike Hannah Baker from 13 Reasons Why, the TV show, because I've never read the book. I've always wanted to, but then I kept forgetting about it or I couldn't find it anywhere. So I never read the book. I have no idea if it's the same character in the book, how much they changed her for the TV show. So no hate at all towards the book and no hate towards the TV show because I actually really liked it. I'm looking forward to watching season 2 that's coming out really soon here. So this video is just my problems with Hannah Baker specifically because I truly, genuinely dislike her with a passion. I decided to rewatch season 1 to get ready for season 2, and I will be filming a a video after each couple of episodes and talking to you episode by episode about the things that she did that just rubbed me the wrong way. And I feel like this video is going to be pretty long, so get a snack, settle in. I did not mean to say that. Wow. Let's start with episode 1. So I have my notes here. I will be looking down a lot because I want to make sure I mention everything and I don't forget anything. So the tapes themselves, I don't know if it was like this in the book, but I feel like in the TV show the only reason Hannah even came up with the idea of tapes to begin with was to get back at people that she didn't like or that she thought did her wrong. It wasn't to help people understand why she did it. It wasn't to help them become better people. No, it was for the sole reason of making people feel like shit, and she did do that. It was cruel. And later on in the series she blames other people for being cruel when she did that. It was a whole entire elaborate plan. If she just wanted to help people understand why she committed suicide, if she wanted to prevent other people from doing that, she wouldn't make it so dramatic. She wouldn't be leaving all these clues and rules, for God's sake, that, and I quote, she made copies of tapes and left them with a trusted individual who will release them in a very public manner if anyone breaks her rules. Are you kidding me? Is that not dramatic? Is that not something you do for attention, not to help people? That's bullshit. And then she was like, still listening? Well, I'm still dead, and you're the reason I died, and everyone's going to find out. Feeling paranoid? Well, good. Like, she wanted people to suffer. That was her whole entire intention, for people to suffer. It's bad enough to find out that somebody you were friends with or whatever committed suicide. Like, you're going to feel like it's your fault. You're going to feel like you didn't do something, or like you did do something to make the person kill themselves. But when you're being told specifically that you personally are the reason I killed myself, how do you think that's gonna make people feel? They're going to feel like shit, they're going to hurt themselves, they're going to lose sleep over it, they're not gonna be able to function normally, and that's exactly what happened. And like, you have to be stupid to not know that that's what you're doing, and that's exactly what she wanted to do, and that's exactly what she did do to people. I get so mad talking about this because, like, you don't do that. Like, how shitty of a person do you have to be to do that? Oh my god. Here's another quote. Do what I say, not more, not less. Like, are you fucking serious? Let's talk about Justin for a second. So when she first sees him at the party, she is being warned by 2 of her friends, not 1, 2 of her close friends basically, that he is not a good person. He is going to fuck you over. He's done it to people before. He's not a good, like, he's not boyfriend material. So what does she do? She starts flirting with him, and then she goes on a date with him, and then she lets him take a picture of her going down the slide wearing a skirt. And it's not like she wasn't thinking about it. No, when she saw that he was taking a picture, she specifically said, "Oh, I'm wearing a skirt. Oh no, and proceeded to let him take a picture. He didn't do it without her knowing. She specifically let Justin take that kind of picture of her and keep it. Oh, and then after that, when Clay said, sometimes it's better to wait, she starts crying, says that he really hurt her feelings, and like storms off. What the fuck did he say that hurt her so bad? He warned you. Other people warned you. You did this to yourself. And then when somebody gives you advice on how to prevent things like this from happening in the future, you get fucking mad and like storm off? No, bitch. Oh, and then she tells Clay that she always confronts whatever issues head on. And then she's like, have you ever done that? Do you even have any issues? Oh, no, she said, have you ever even had an issue? And then, how are you gonna say that? But then when you're actually faced with an issue that you claim is so devastating to you, aka Justin sending the picture to people, why the fuck are you not saying anything? That's not dealing with the issue head on. That's just sitting there whining about shit that you caused. Literally the only thing she did about the issue, the only way she faced it head on, was blaming everyone else for like ruining her nice memories and ruining her whole entire life. No. Episode 2. She asks Clay if she could ever be as pretty as Jessica. He said like something along the lines of like, yeah, Jessica is pretty, but you're also like special or whatever. You have to be stupid to think that he meant it in a bad way, because the way he said it, like, no, it was obvious that he was just trying to tell her that they're both pretty. There is no reason to compare yourself to Jessica. She shouldn't expect him to be like, oh, Jessica is ugly and you're so much prettier than her. No. Like, no. He said what any decent human being would say. Like, and then she keeps fishing for compliments, and then whatever Clay says is not good enough, and then she gets whatever and leaves. And like the whole entire, I'm not even gonna talk about this, the whole entire thing with Alex and Jessica and how they stopped being friends, all three of them, and then how Jessica and Alex started dating. Like, that's, no, like, you don't get so butthurt because two people you used to be friends with started dating. Like, friendships end. That's how life works. I'm sorry, like, if I killed myself every time I stopped being friends with someone, no. Episode 3. So Clay keeps complimenting Hannah, and then he's like trying to make her feel good about herself. All she does is twist his words. Nothing he ever says is good enough, and it's just like annoying. Ooh, this next one makes me so mad. Like, how do you think it's ever okay? So Hannah Baker comes into the boys' locker room out of nowhere, starts yelling at Alex. Is that like the only place he's ever at? Could you not have waited an hour and talked to him somewhere else? Do you have to go in the boys' locker room? If her and like a bunch of her girlfriends were in a girl's locker room naked like these guys were, and then some boy storms in and starts yelling at everyone, I'm sure she wouldn't be fine with that. But when it's the other way around, for some reason it is, and then when she's being asked politely to leave the boys' locker room because she's a girl and they're naked, and she's like yelling at people while they're trying to do something clearly, she's like, why the fuck would I leave, basically? Like, why, what makes you think I should leave? Like, there's no reason for me to leave. I have every right to be here. She didn't say that, but like, she said something along those lines. Are you fucking stupid? Like, this is a boys' locker room. You're a girl. They're naked. I'm sorry, but I don't think... No, like, no. Just, how does it make sense? How does anyone think it's okay? And then when she finally does leave, thank God, she, like, flips everyone off. Like, no, that is so rude. When Bryce grabbed her ass when they were at a store together, well, one, like, why did you let him pay for you? That doesn't make any sense. But whatever. But two, he grabs her ass, which is, like, not okay. I'm not saying that's okay, of course it's not. But, like, she blames that on Alex. She's like, by putting me on that list, aka by saying that I have a nice ass, you made me a target? How? The girl that they put as the one that had the nicest lips or whatever, I don't see her whining about it. I don't see her complaining to everyone about how she was on the list and how people think she has nice lips. I don't see her blaming people and saying that they made her a target. I don't, like, no, like, just because they said she has nice lips, it doesn't mean everyone's now all of a sudden walking up to her and kissing her without her, like, consent. That's not, like, how do you make that connection? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't make any sense. That's it for this part of the video. I'm going to make a quick jump cut to probably a couple of days from now and talk about the other episodes. So, bye. I haven't even started filming yet and I'm already, like, pissed off. Let's talk about episode 4. One of the things that Hannah did when she was still alive was record her heartbeat and put that on the tapes just to fuck with people. Can you imagine how messed up that is? How bad it's going to fuck people up? But for some reason she thought it was a fair thing to do. Yeah, they're assholes, but they don't deserve that. Especially Clay. Let's not talk about Clay because that's another like 20-minute long video. Now, the picture that Tyler took of Hannah and Courtney kissing. I'm sorry, am I like remembering something wrong? Or is this the same girl that already had a picture leaking scandal like 5 days ago? She had a picture taken of her that she didn't like. So she lets the exact same thing happen again. She knew that somebody was outside of her house, that they've been there for days taking pictures of her. She seemed to be so upset about it. So what she decides to do is open the blinds and make out with a girl. Actually, now that I think about it, it sounds pretty smart. That's what I'd do. I mean, she was complaining about how, like, oh, that made her feel so unsafe, the fact that somebody was following her and taking pictures of her. Why didn't she call the cops? Like, she was going on about how she was laying there at night not being able to move and she was so scared and she didn't tell anyone, she didn't call the police. Like, why not? And then, as Clay later on said in the series, it's illegal to take pictures of minors without them knowing in their house, whatever. So it was like a legit thing. If she didn't know if that was a good enough reason to call the police, she could have looked it up, but that makes too much sense, I guess. Tyler made her feel uncomfortable, unsafe, whatever, by taking those pictures of her. So what she decided to do is do the exact same thing to him. She wanted him to feel unsafe, she wanted him to feel paranoid, which is what she specifically says in her tapes. She's not even trying to hide it. And then, like, she's making all those other kids do shitty things to him, like throw rocks at his windows, which, mind you, Tyler is probably not gonna Tyler is not gonna pay for that to get fixed. His parents that didn't do shit are going to have to pay for all those windows to get fixed. Like, That's just stupid and selfish and doesn't make any sense. Then in episodes 5 and 6, something really weird happened. She didn't annoy me too much, so I'm not gonna talk about those probably because she wasn't in them too much, I guess. But then episode 7. She's sitting there for like 28 minutes, that's an exaggeration, complaining about how she's so lonely and like she has to sit alone at lunch. Oh, poor her. And then when Zach walks up to her at lunch and says hi, and like he's being nice, he's asking what she's reading, and she's like, a book? Like, you're not going to make any friends if you're going to be a bitch. Like I said, the whole entire time he was trying to talk to her at lunch, he was being nice, he was being polite. And what she did was, as always, be extremely rude to him and then tell him that he's such an idiot for no reason whatsoever. And then she started yelling at him and she was like, leave me alone. And then like everyone heard that because she is a drama queen and she has to yell every time there is people around. And like everyone starts looking at them and it's just embarrassing for everyone now because I guess she can't control herself. And then there was a part where she wrote that anonymous note for her class to discuss. And what did she... Oh, yeah, my question was, why? There are so many places that you can anonymously call and get help if you're feeling depressed, if you're thinking about suicide. There is so many resources for people. If you're so desperate, contact a place that is supposed to do just that, help people like you. But she didn't. And then the teacher was like, oh, I'm going to make a list for you guys of like hotline numbers that you can call if you need support, if you whatever. Did she ever call? I don't think so, because that for sure would have been on the tapes. This next one, episode 8. She sits there and complains about school and about how they're always being told what to do and how they've never had an original thought in their like 12 years of going to school. Are you dumb? Like, I'm sorry. Like, how stupid do you have to be? And how ignorant. Like, there are countries where people don't get to pick classes like you did, where people don't get as much freedom as she did in her school whatsoever, like in any sense. Where I live, I went to school where I didn't get to pick a single class that I took, and because that's how all the schools are here. And I'm going to a university where I cannot pick my own classes because that's how universities work here. But for some reason, I've had tons of original thoughts. Yeah, that's what she said. In the 21 years of my life. So that's not a valid point, honey. No, sorry. Just because you apparently get told what to do all the time at school, which what? Like, how does that mean you can't have an original thought? Like, This next part too, like, so annoying. She's complaining about how if you don't have the money or the grades, then your university options are limited. No shit, like, how do you think it works? Are they supposed to have an unlimited amount of students they can have? Are they supposed to take in everyone that wants? No, like, no, how stupid. I think this episode might have pissed me off the most so far because she was just being so dumb throughout the whole entire thing. When she was talking to her mom, she was being so ignorant. She's like, no one has a career as a poet. And then she was like, who would want to be a teacher? Kids are assholes. And then she was like, do journalists still exist? Like, that's so ignorant. Like, that's so disrespectful towards all thousands and thousands of people that have those professions that, like, work as teachers and journalists and poets. Like, that's disrespectful. Like, she's just always being disrespectful. And then nothing, literally nothing her mom suggested was ever good enough. Like, nothing anyone ever does is ever good enough for her. I can't even talk anymore. That's how pissed off I am. I truly, genuinely feel like I missed something in the show because when she first has an interaction with Ryan, Was it his name? Yeah. She was being so ridiculously mean and rude towards him for no reason whatsoever. Why? Why? Like I said, maybe I missed something. That's the feeling I'm getting, because that literally makes no sense whatsoever. So if you can explain that part to me, please do. I'm genuinely very curious. And yeah, as always, he was being nice to her, so why she was acting like that, I have no idea. And like with Ryan too, like yeah, he published her poem, whatever, it was a shitty thing to do, he basically stole it. But he published it anonymously, nobody knew it was her, why did he need to be on the tapes? Just because somebody published your poem without your permission, yet nobody knew it was your poem, that is not, like, you shouldn't be telling that person that they are the reason you killed yourself. That's stupid. That doesn't make any sense. And like this next one too. So apparently Hannah told Tony that he was the only guy at school that didn't grab her ass. That's bullshit. Every single one out of like 500 guys at your school came up to you and grabbed your ass? No. I understand that she was exaggerating, but like, what about Clay? Like, you can't just, like, no. Episode 9, I'm literally not even gonna talk about this because like, it's beyond me. I could never understand. She watched Jessica get raped, and then she didn't even tell her. Hannah didn't tell Jessica that she was raped. Hannah didn't tell anyone that Jessica was raped. That's just beyond me. If I start talking about this, I'll literally explode. I can't. So episode 10, Hannah and Sherry were driving home and they hit the stop sign, okay? Hannah knows that the right thing to do is to call the cops because that can cause an accident, which later on ended up happening. Sherry doesn't want to. Makes sense. She's scared. She doesn't want to get it. Whatever. Why couldn't they just call and be like, hey, we know that there's supposed to be a stop sign here. It's always been here, and now it's not. Somebody hit it. They could have just said that it wasn't them, that they just saw that the stop sign wasn't there anymore. And I take it like Sherry was scared. I'm not blaming her because she was scared. Like, yeah, what she did was wrong, but it makes sense that she didn't think of that. Whereas Hannah could have suggested that because she was being so, like, nice and, like, wanting to do the right thing for once. But, like, that was an obvious thing to think. Like, no? And yeah, what does she do instead of suggesting something that's actually helpful? She just yells at Sherry because all she ever does is yell at people because she's just disrespectful like that. Oh, and then this next scene, yeah. She was screaming at the guy at the store. She was like screaming at him to give her his phone, which he doesn't have to do. He does not have to do that, and she has no right to be sitting there and screaming at him and demanding for him to give her his phone. And then when he started asking like a question or whatever, she was just like, shut up! Like, are you fucking kidding me? I literally wanted to punch her. I don't punch people, but I wanted to punch her because she was being so disrespectful. It's beyond me. And the fact that she didn't tell Jeff's parents about the stop sign and she just let them think that he was driving drunk and that's why he died, that's a shitty thing to do. Episode 11, there was a part where Hannah and Clay were talking, and he was inviting her to go to that one party, to Jessica's party, and she was like, part of me was thinking, ask me again. Are you kidding me? He just spent like a good 5 minutes begging you to go to that party with him. Like, he invited her, she kept saying no, he kept being like, oh, let's go, giving her like telling her different things they'll do or whatever, telling her how much fun it's gonna be. He does not need to sit there and beg you for like hours. No, like, no, you shouldn't expect that from people. Like, no. And then when they were up in Jessica's room or whatever and they were about to get intimate, whatever was going on in her head, I don't care. She was being extremely rude, extremely ignorant, extremely selfish. When Clay apologized, for nothing, mind you, she started yelling at him even more, and then she was telling him to leave her alone, and then he was like, are you alright? And she was like, I don't want you here, get out! And then he keeps trying to find out what's wrong, and she's like, get the fuck out! And she's like yelling at him, and like, again, he didn't do anything wrong. He had no idea what was going on in her head, because he's not supposed to. You shouldn't expect people to know what's going on in your head. And she's sitting there yelling at him, being rude. He's confused, doesn't know what's going on. He's trying to find out what's wrong. He's trying to help. She pushes him away. He's still there. She pushes him away more. Yells at him, swears at him, tells him to go away. No shit, he's going to leave. Because guess what? If it was a different situation and you were telling the guy to leave and he wasn't leaving, you'd probably be complaining about that too. That, oh, you told him to leave but he didn't. But in this case, you're like, on the tape, she's like, why did you leave? Because you told him to leave. You screamed at him to leave like 50 different times. That's it for now. I have 2 more episodes to watch. We'll talk then. So today we have only 2 episodes to talk about, and let's start with episode 12. I'll try not to get too emotional. Oh no, I can't. I literally can't. Episode 12. Hannah witnesses a conversation between her parents about how they are struggling with money at the moment and how they basically can't even keep their pharmacy running, how they're basically in a very bad money situation right now. And then they have to make a deposit for whatever, and her parents are busy, so they send her to go do that to the bank. They give her the money, a lot of money. She drives, well, she's supposed to drive to the bank, but she decides to stop at the movie theater or whatever. She loses the money. She puts her little wallet or whatever on top of her car, along with a can of Coke, as she's talking to Clay on the phone. And then she grabs the Coke, but she doesn't grab the money. How do you remember to grab a drink, but not the money that your parents trusted you with? That's just irresponsible. Like, I'd understand if, I don't know, she got a call saying that her cat got run over by a car. Yeah, then it makes sense. She's stressed out. She's thinking about a million different things right now. She can forget whatever. But when that's basically the only thing on her mind, and that is the main reason she is even going anywhere to begin with, I don't understand how you can forget your money on top of your car, but grab your Coke. She goes to Bryce's party. Like, she goes to Bryce's party. I don't care that she's upset. I don't give a shit. She chose to go to Bryce's party. She knows what kind of person he is. And then she thinks it's a good idea to get in a hot tub at Bryce's party, at Bryce's house, with like 3 other people, whatever, 4 other people. And then when everyone else leaves, she thinks it's a good idea to sit there almost naked in a hot tub at Bryce's house, when there is no people in the hot tub with you, when there is no people outside of the house at all. She thinks it's a good idea. All after she's watched Jessica get raped by Bryce. If you think that's safe, then don't complain about getting raped. Obviously what he did was wrong, but could she have avoided that situation? Yes, she could have. She knew that there was a very high possibility of that happening, and she chose to let it happen. Am I saying she was asking for it? No. Am I saying she chose to be in that situation even though she knew it was probably going to end up like that? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. And then, like, why didn't she tell anyone? Why didn't she call the police? Why didn't she... Why? And then episode 13, so she goes to her counselor and she's trying to ask for help, and he's trying to find out what's wrong. He's trying to help, but all she does is twist his words, as she does in basically every interaction she ever had with anyone. She said something along the lines of like how he has to promise her that he locked Bryce up and like that she'll never see him again. I'm sorry, how the fuck is he supposed to do that if you won't even tell him who raped you, you won't even tell him what exactly happened? How can you ask someone for that? How can you ask someone to do something that is impossible? And then when he tells her that, oh, he'll do everything he can, but he needs to know what happened, he needs to know like who did it, she's just like sitting there. And then again, whatever he suggested, whatever he said, nothing was good enough for her, as always. And then on the tapes, she accused him of not stopping her. Well, I'm sorry, but he sat there asking you what happened and asking if you need help and asking if he can do anything and asking all those questions, trying to help for fucking forever. You either didn't know what you wanted or asked him to do something he possibly couldn't ever do. And then she decides to leave, and he's trying to stop her. He tried multiple times to stop her. He was asking her not to leave. He was asking her to sit down and they could figure it out. He wanted her to stay. He was asking her to talk to him and he would try and help her. Well, she still left. What the fuck else was he supposed to do? Was he supposed to like grab her by the arm and like force her to stay? No, he can't do that. So that was bullshit too. Like, why the fuck was he on the tapes? He didn't do shit. He just tried to help. And like this scene where like her parents find her, the first time I watched the show and now that I was rewatching it, it was so heartbreaking. I just do not understand how she could possibly do that to them. And never once did she consider them at all. Never once did she consider any other people or how it would make them feel. The only person she ever talked about on the tapes was herself, because she's selfish and ignorant and she doesn't care about anyone else but herself. She never once contemplated whether or not she should do it, because she has people who actually love her and care about her, and it would feel like shit if she did kill herself. No, she didn't care, didn't even want to think about it, because all that matters is what Hannah Baker wants. And then the fact that she didn't even leave any note or anything at all for her parents, like she didn't even say bye to them. She literally just left them. Like, that's all. They don't know what's wrong. They think maybe it's their fault. They didn't get shit from her, even though all they did for the fucking 17 or whatever years of her life was love her and support her and take care of her. But they don't even deserve a fucking note. Oh, maybe that's because that wouldn't be dramatic and all she cares about is being dramatic and getting attention. But her parents, who gives a shit about them? They don't even deserve a note. All those other 13 people deserve their own tapes, but not her own parents. They don't deserve a goodbye. They don't deserve an explanation. They don't deserve anything. Of course not. Why would they? That's it. Those are my opinions on Hannah Baker in the TV series 13 Reasons Why. Wow, this was a long video. It took me like a week to film, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really want to know your opinion. If you disagree with me, I would love to know why. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I might do a reaction or something along those lines to season 2 if that's something you'd be interested in. So if you are, let me know in the comments below and I'll for sure do that. I'm still thinking about it. I want to, but I'm not sure how I would do it. I'm not sure if anyone would like to watch it. So yeah, if you want to see that, let me know. And yeah, leave your opinions. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later in my next video. Bye!